So, let's get ready for set 1 and we can start having some fun, right? Alright, so we have Battousai versus Basil is going to be our first game, and we are, I think, ready for that, except for the fact that it is not on Circuit Breaker. It is going to... oh, it is on Circuit Breaker. Well, how convenient is that? Alright, I think we're ready. So here we go. Game 1 of BSL Chobo League's second day. Going to be on Circuit Breaker between Battousai and Basil. So spawning in the bottom right hand corner as the purple Protoss, we have .07, otherwise known as Basil, and in the top left hand corner as the blue Protoss, we have Battousai from Clan NAS. And he said pause whenever you want, which is always scary words to hear, because pauses are known for occasionally breaking reps. Hopefully that will not be an issue here, but one never knows. We'll just keep our fingers crossed that money doesn't keep going up. And as I discovered in my cast the other day for, there are 4 of them. I just casted it. It's having trouble coming to the surface. The people spawn bang. Reps definitely still bug in Remaster. I thought I'd heard that they fixed that, but clearly they have not fixed that. Well, shockingly, Battousai has built a pylon, and so has Basil. I don't know if he wants to be called 07 or Basil. I'm going to go with Basil, I guess. And, of course, neither player opting to scout after pylon. It's pretty early for PvP, and there's a tendency for there just to be a zealot or goon blocking the ramp. And, to be honest, in PvP, when you scout, you don't usually get that much insight. Like, even if you get in, you're basically just going to see them take gas and build a gateway. They're never going to show you anything else. So there's usually not a need to scout super early in PvP. If you're really worried about proxies or something, or want to do something obnoxious with your probe, you know, if you want to be particularly man or pylon-y or whatever, then it's a little bit of an option, but otherwise. And they're both going to scout incorrectly, which is no... actually, wait, I'd say that, but apparently Battousai... well, no, Battousai might be going to the right side. Well, they'll kind of have a guess for each other when Basil's probe comes and gives Battousai's probe a little kiss. We got a 2-gate opening from both players. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Not as common of an opening in PvP. Oh, alright, they didn't quite kiss though. That's sad. I guess that means they're going to fight this game. So, nothing is found there. And yeah, 2-gate, still, you know, a routine PvP build. Like, it's not a rare thing to see, but definitely encounter that in a smaller fraction of games than you will a gate gas core build. But they are cross-map, and of course with both of them 2-gating, there'd have to be some pretty ridiculous micro mistakes for either player to be able to do any significant damage to the other player. Oh, so on the ramp, but you can't really block these ramps. So both probes are going to get in. Both probes have taken 1 zealot hit. This is like a symmetrical game, like almost completely symmetrical so far. They've scouted each other at the same time. Same builds. Probes have taken a hit. Are they going to take gas? They're taking gas at... okay, slight difference in the gas timing here, with Battousai getting his a bit later. Both players... let's see, and slightly faster gateways for Basil, as he does have 2 or 3 zealots out now, and Battousai's 3 zealots just now popped. He's made a pylon here to temporarily block a potential little nexus, but that's not going to last for much longer. Got to be a little bit careful. This guy's still got 2 hits left he can take. It looks like he's going to let the pylon finish, which is interesting, but I guess with the harassing zealots, he's going to leave it. Perhaps he wants to consider building a citadel or something like that. It'd be really weird to see a forge or anything like that. Or not a citadel, sorry, a shield battery. But it's a little bit interesting that he left that stay. But we'll see what he's going to do here, because he is coming in now with 3 zealots, opting for some harass. And we'll see how the controllers. Here comes the first zealot. They're attacking the pylon, so he gets 1 hit off, but they both trade hits, so no advantage. But it's 4 zealots to 3, so I don't really see any opportunities here for Basil. He's trying to micro this, but he's just badly outnumbered. Looks like pretty even hit so far on the zealots, but no chance here for Basil to do anything outnumbered. I guess he's just trying to keep that pylon alive slightly longer, but it does go down. I don't really feel like that pylon accomplished much, especially with the gas being taken in both bases. That means the game plan was never to expand in the first place. So it's not even like you'd be delaying an expansion. And now there is a brief window of Zealots here for Zealot advantage here for Basil, but of course 2 Dragoons coming out from Battousai that will give him a definitive edge. And it looks like Basil coming up to the ramp, but Battousai is there now with 2 goons, and that will be more than enough to zone Basil back. And I think he's going to have to run home, or else the goons are just going to pick off all the Zealots, unless he brings up a few of his own. But he has not started Dragoon production yet, it seems. Just waiting on a pylon. Yeah, just waiting on a pylon to finish. And we're going to add a 3rd gateway, and a forge going up for Battousai. As an anti-DT measure, I guess, since he does not have a robotics facility. And to me that suggests expansion. It'd be a little odd to just get a forge and make a cannon in your main and chill. And with a pylon on the low ground, that also seems to be heading in that direction. Anything else in the base here? Just a pylon. So 3 gates. Alright, we're going to have a little bit of engagement, but it looks like there's a few too many Zealots here. And too few goons for Battousai to want to run in there. But with 2 more coming, we might see him. Well, I was going to say we might, but now with 2 goons out for Basil, should be fine. Let's see, range for both players. It's going to be done a little bit earlier for Battousai, so he will have a window there where his goons can be a little bit more obnoxious. But if Basil sets up defensively, especially with that 3rd gate on the way, he should be fine even with the range. Battousai would need some really precise micro. But here we go. Coming in, Dragoon range not quite done yet, as we can see from the close distance. And I don't know, his Zealots are in a way bad arc compared to Basil, so he's just going to be driven back pretty quickly. Basically, oh, that's not good. That's really bad. Oh my gosh, get away, get away. Oh, he's going to lose a Dragoon. So that attack goes very poorly for Battousai, who is now going to be almost a little bit nervous, although he does have 2 cannons up. But he suddenly saw a lot of Dragoons, and there are a lot of Zealots left. I mean, this is a scary attack, even with 2 cannons there. What do we have? We're going to have about 5 Dragoons, 2 cannons, and a Zealot to defend against, I don't know, 6 or 7 Zealots, and I think 5 Dragoons here. So this is a dangerous attack coming in from Basil. Is his range done, though? That's kind of important. Okay, it is going to finish, so it's the right timing. He's coming across the bridges from both angles, and it looks like he definitely intends to run right in here and see what he can do. Let's see what happens. Zealot's coming in. Is he going to go for it? Yes, he is going for it. Actually, he doesn't have quite as many Dragoons as he thought. With good micro, these Zealots should go down fairly fast, and it doesn't look like he's going to have the Dragoon muscle here to break through. Of course, notice that in the meantime, Basil is getting his Nexus down first, and actually there are still enough Zealots alive to at least force Battousai up his ramp, possibly even enough to try to break up that. But Battousai, playing this confidently, comes down, picks off a Zealot, not afraid to go out there, even with inferior Dragoon numbers. And Basil waiting for a few more reinforcements, and then he is just going to continue this attack. And Battousai completely down his ramp, just fighting on the low ground, really wants to get up some cannon, some defense, microing those Dragoons back nicely against the Zealots. It looks like numbers are relatively even, maybe one more. It is 5 on 5, but Battousai is not fighting with all of his. No reinforcements on the map, though, for Basil, so that's going to be it for this aggression, and Battousai is going to be just fine in terms of holding. Does he have tech on the way? No, he does not. And he doesn't have an expansion either, so Basil's kind of manipulated him into a bit of a poor position here. This traded army is reasonably well. Both players kind of threw away their Zealots in different ways. And then Battousai back down now. He finally gets up the pylon, but look at that. The Nexus is already finished here for Basil, and of course they are on 3 gates each. Yeah, well, is he even going to start a Nexus? He's waiting on money. He's waiting on money, and of course they have more or less the same tech. There's going to be slightly better upgrades for Battousai, but that's really the only thing he has going for him. And in Goon vs. Goon battles, you know, +1 attack, it's something, but it's not like that big of a deal. Forge finishing up there for Basil, and it looks like Battousai is going to go ahead and come across the map. How many Dragoons does he have? 3, 6, 8? 8 goons? Maybe, yeah, 8 goons against, well, 8 goons in a perfect arc with 9, 10, 11 on the way. So this attack should not be able to do anything at all to Basil. Oh, that probe just died. I just heard someone getting shot, and then I realized he brought a probe down to Sac to see what the army was looking like here for Basil. More Dragoons on the way, and both players still consent to stay on 3 gates. Finally, the expansion down for Battousai. waiting for that +1 weapon upgrade. So 1 attack upgrade, 9 or so dragoons, 8 or so dragoons with 9 and 10 on the way, but there are just more here, plus a cannon now for Basil, and I really don't think that +1 is going to be enough to make anything work if Battousai forces the issue. And of course, if he does, if he forces the issue here, he's going to be trading probably at best evenly. Well, right now, right now Basil not engaging, but there we go. Now sending in his dragoons, and at best this should be an even trade for Battousai, and it could end up just being a downright poor trade as he runs into these cannons, and with Basil already ahead in economy, it's not a good situation for Battousai to be trading. We can see, yeah, this attack obviously goes nowhere even with that 1 attack advantage, and now he just trades into a less favorable spot. Probe count, what do we have? Looks like about 12. Pretty healthy probe count, but of course just at 1 base. Probably it looks like 5 or so more probes here for Basil. And is he going some... Okay, finally adding a robotics facility. And a Templar archive. Citadel's already done. Lightspeed on the way with Storm here for Basil. And we are going to go Reaver for Battousai. And with his faster Nexus, although I don't actually think, unless I missed a probe or something going out, I don't think Basil has scouted Battousai for a long, long time, so I don't really think Basil has any idea what Battousai is doing. So he's just kind of sitting back defending, but a little bit in the dark here. He is sending out a probe over to this base. I think it's just to scout and check for maybe some hidden bases. Find a path to go around in case there's army out here, because he still really has no idea. He probably wants to know, has Battousai taken a base, and is he thinking about taking a third? Where am I actually at in this game? We can see he's got a little bit of a supply edge, which would be expected. He's added a 4th gate, which Battousai has not. Reaver on the way, no speed coming for the shuttle. Probe dies to a bunch of dragoons at the front, possibly sees a cannon. And it looks like gateway number 5 going up, so a significant gate count advantage coming up here for Basil, who already has an army advantage and realistically has a tech advantage. Probe coming in, will die. Doesn't see much other than probably these 5 or 6 units. Oh, is that an Archon being morphed? No, just Templar popping. Oh, it isn't. No, it is an Archon being morphed. I heard that right. So we're going to add some Archons. Not that useful against this composition right now. And not going to be that useful in the short term either, because there are no Zealots on the way. And first Crawl Reaver on the way. And going up to 7 gateways. Adding, making more Templars. Going to get Storm in this archives? Not yet, huh? Not yet. So possibly one more Archon, we'll see. Looks like it. Alright, so he's adding a bunch of Archons to his army. And we can see an armor upgrade here for Battousai. He already has, yeah, he's got 1 of that. Forge is not spinning right now for Basil, but he does have +1, so it's equal in upgrades. And the armor, I believe, was quite a ways from finishing. Yeah, it just recently started, so even upgrades now. And a much scarier army composition for Basil. The only thing that's going on here is this is a boatload of dragoons, obviously, and it's in a choke. So with the more Zealot Archon heavy composition of Basil, it's possible that his Zealots will kind of clump up and only a few of them will attack at once, and this Dragoon force will kind of hold this off. Out in the open, Basil's army would 100% murder this, but there's a chance across the bridges here that Battousai could live, especially with these 2 Reavers, so we'll see if Basil comes in here and commits, or if he's going to back off when he sees those Reaver Scarabs. No, right now he really wants to do this attack. You can see, though, bridges are pretty bad. They are clumping up his Dragoons and Archons quite heavily, but he is getting across now. But with those Reaver shots on Clump Zealots, he is doing just fine against this army, and Basil is kind of throwing away here his advantage with an absolutely futile attack that goes nowhere. That was absolutely crushed, and crushed to the extent that Battousai is just going to Battousai is just going to immediately counter. And there's not much at home. We are making Dragoons, which is good. He's making a few Panic DTs, which are possibly going to be his savior, because I don't see an ops with that army anywhere. So, oh, okay. We got a few units at the ramp, but the Reavers are here, so once those go down, these Zealots become significantly less effective. Reavers, as long as you pick up and shuttle micro OK, are very, very effective against Zealots. And he is doing a fine job of that, but a few Dragoons trying to get on top of the shuttle, but the control is fine for Battousai, and he drives back those Zealots quite easy, buying just a little bit more time for those DTs is Basil, and they should be out here shortly. Where are they? I don't think they can save the third. No, the third will have to be cancelled. I assumed it was making. But it is cancelled, and it looks like he's going to go around and maybe try to catch the army either with a flank or perhaps catch the army retreating and snipe the shuttle off. Here come the DTs. This is a pretty good time to run in now. Decent chance to get the shuttle. DTs are attacking. That immediately has him running backwards. Actually, to be honest, he would have attacked with the DTs and left the Dragoons over here. It might have been a cool trap, but look at that. The target firing isn't there to get the shuttle. Oh, he had the opportunity. He's going to go for it. Can he get a Reaver? He'll get at least a Reaver, but now there are units everywhere on both sides. And Basil losing the rest of his units, and that was almost risky because if there would have been an OBS on the way, he might have just thrown away everything again. But now it is Basil back on the warpath for a second. Just going to push Battousai back out. There ought to be some OBS making now for sure. Yes, indeed. A little bit unfortunate there he didn't have an OBS. There's a chance he could have done some significant damage at the natural with the units he had there. Of course, the production is a hell of a lot more for Basil right now, working off 7 gateways, and Basil, having fended off that attack, immediately likes to throw up his third, although now we can see the timings are relatively identical for the thirds, and both players have similar army sizes, so a huge advantage that Basil had, unfortunately, thrown away in that attack here at the natural. And not sure if that was meant to scout, probably not, probably an accident. We're going to have a little bit of shuttle harass going to the top here. And we have started a second upgrade at that citadel. Armor upgrade is finished. No third upgrade coming yet, so some lag in upgrade time. Checking the third base, possibly looking for DTs, or maybe he's looking for a shuttle or something like that. Oh, this shuttle isn't going to harass. Never mind. What am I talking about? It's his own shuttle. And finally, I didn't even realize he didn't have a robo for that long. It's really late. We are about 17 minutes into this game, and a robo is only just now getting added for Basil. If there's one thing I have not liked about the way he's played this game, and to an extent the way both players have played this game, is the incredible lack of scouting. They basically have had no information about each other except when they go to attack, which probably is part of the reason why both of them have committed to some questionable attacks throughout this game. Alright, now we've got another OBS heading out. Has he sent out an OBS to scout yet? No, but he is going to come shuttle harass. Oh, probe almost sees it, but not quite. OBS does see the army moving around in the center. Pretty nice army here for Basil. He's got a few Templar in there. He's got a few Zealots mixed in. Just a good solid balanced composition. No Templar yet, no splash here in the army. Oh, actually, maybe he did see it with the probe, because his entire army's gone over to this side. Is he aware? Maybe he could just be zoning his army, though. We'll see. If he's looking for it, he's going to be ready with these probes here in half a sec with nothing else going on. Here we go. The Zealot is dropped. Okay, he was pretty ready, so he was either ready for it or was really watching the mini-map well. Unfortunate Dud Scarab will do nothing. And now the shuttle's in a dangerous spot. It's pretty low on health. He's got to get the Reaver down. All right, he gets the Reaver down. Can he get off a good shot on the probes? It's got potential. There are potential here. Which Scarab? Where's it going to go? Oh, okay, a pretty decent one. 6 or 7 probes going down there. At the same time, Basil attacking over here at the 4th base to kill a pylon. Critical damage being dealt to the pylon. If there would have been a 4th base going up for Battousai, he would have been badly out of position, but there wasn't, so he's fine. Just confidently defending that high ground, and honestly, that's a pretty good place to defend. You run up here, you're just running up into like a perfect Dragoon arc. Oh, and what do we have here? A small Zealot counter. Again, no scouting for either player, so this will surely shut down this base. When it heads in there, you can see the army's way out of position for this. Oh, and a Zealot sneaking through here, which is going to draw the army away. Coincidental, I think, but beautiful for denying this base. So both players keeping each other on 3 bases, and this Zealot gets another look at what is being made and the general size of Basil's army. We can see, despite his more formidable-looking army and better-looking composition, it is actually Battousai right now who has a significantly higher supply. So either Basil is fallen behind on probe count, which it doesn't look like, or Battousai just has a much bigger army. I'm not exactly seeing where all that army supply is tied up. I guess it's just the few Archons and the division of his army over there and there. But it looks like a reasonably even army composition, and with Battousai in such a defensive position, I don't think Basil is going to elect to attack. But he is going to elect to expand, and actually, in fact, double expand. Which is not a bad idea, especially if you have map control like this and are confident your army can take the fight, because you're basically saying, hey, I'm taking 2 bases. You need to come out of your defensive position and do something about that. And if you've got the better army, well, then your opponent's in a pretty tricky spot, because they're like, well, I gotta do something about those bases, but I don't think I can beat your army. And another little scouting zealot coming out to try to find where the army is, or perhaps to look for bases. To be honest, I don't even know if Basil needs to move his army around as much as he is. You know, you can just have a couple scouting zealots here and keep your army, have a unit here in case he sneaks around that way with his army, and just keep most of your army right here ready to catch Battousai when he moves out. But he's just being active with it, keeping that APM up, moving around. Battousai is still with significantly higher supply, and he's just going to take a 4th base of his own. He's a little out of position to defend it once this is seen by the probe. We'll see if this prompts a reaction from Basil's army, reinforcing with a few more Dragoons, a couple more Templars, so he's got a lot of storms in there. It looks like either 5 or 6 Templar worth of storms, and the arrival of the probe is going to result in Battousai moving a bit of his army down towards the 4th so that Basil sneaking around can't do anything, and Basil has split, but only a little bit of his army has come across, and with a little bit of army there for Battousai to defend, this attack will not be able to do anything. But possibly Basil hoping to draw Battousai away and create an opening. So now he's going to charge up on the ridge, and he definitely has a lot more army in this particular place, so I think this needs to pull back for Battousai, or it's just going to get eaten apart. And now Battousai is going to move his army in onto the 4th from the other side as well, and everything coming across the ramp, but it's kind of clumped up. It's in prime storming position right now, and he is hitting some good storms on the clump zealots, but he needs a few more. He's getting crushed over here at the same time. He is going to take out the 4th base, so this is going to be an interesting trade, as Basil totally sacking his army, his main army, in exchange for a kill on the 4th. He really needs a kill on that 4th base, though. If he doesn't get that, it's not gonna. He's gonna be completely doomed. But it looks like there's enough stuff held back here from Battousai that he ought to be able to clean this up without losing his nexus, especially with reinforcements. And of course, he is countering down towards the base of 07 of Basil, who does not have anything to defend. So Basil looking to lose 2 bases here. I guess Battousai is going to sack this base and just focus on countering here. But the 3rd base is shut down, and the 4th base is about to be shut down. Does Basil have enough to defend here? I don't think so, especially without Storm. That's a lot of Archons in that army, and more Zealots arriving. No, he doesn't have anywhere near enough without some good Storms. So that army is cleaned up, and now the game looks really poor for Basil, who seems to have been... Actually, well, at the same time, Basil is taking out the 3rd base of Battousai, who's not held anything at all back. And this is going to prompt Battousai to go in. He's just going to go for the jugular. He's going for the kill. It looks like he might even be able to save his 3rd base. And yeah, he's going to save his 3rd base, which is a huge win for him. And he is breaking through the natural. Basil is out of money. DT is coming at the clutch time to push the army out. And I guess the only thing going here now for Basil, as he's in a really bad spot expansion-wise, having lost all of his mining bases. Oh, actually, I forgot. He still has this base over here. So he's... maybe he's not as bad a spot as I thought, if he can hold off this army. Getting a probe transfer there, so he's still going to be mining somewhat abbreviated in terms of probe count, but mining from 2 bases, as opposed to just 1 for Battousai. So, if he can hold this army off and not die here, he will still be in an okay position as long as those bases go unscouted. There are better places right now that Basil could be committing his army, unless he can break, and honestly with the might of 4 Archons pushing down, he may still be able to push through up the ramp. Definitely needs to get some Dragoons out here. We can see, yes, quite a few Dragoons being made in these gateways as he just tries to hold on at the ramp, cleaning up some useless refineries right now. Probes are drilling to prevent this army from getting up into the main base and allowing Basil to accumulate a bit of an army at the top of his ramp. The probe drills, oh, if the Archons start target firing though, so many probes going to die. Just needs another round of units to pop, and he ought to be able to hold. There's not a lot of reinforcements coming across the map. He just needs to get 5 or 6 Dragoons up here at the top of the ramp, shooting down on the units below, and he ought to be fine. But he doesn't have that yet, and now an Archon at the ramp, but it looks like Battousai is going to pull back, at least for the moment, and Basil should have enough units now to hold his ramp. Alright, so now he's finally decided to move over here. He's going to find this base. It looks like he will clean it up, but he doesn't know about this base still. He has, does have his 3rd backup in mining now, which is good, so he's got at least 1 base. And now that's going to bring it back, 1 base, which is a little bit better. And immediately, Basil moves down to the low ground, runs these probes away. I wonder if he's going to be suspicious about where those probes were running to. All stacked like that. Alright, so now it's 1 base to 1 base. He's kind of half mining it. Really should split up and send 4 or 5 of his probes to the other side. Supply is still pretty close, and these probes are now going to be transferred across the map, which might inadvertently give Battousai some information that there is another base out there. He's going to be like, Although, by the same token, these probes now look like, well, no, now they look like they're going somewhere weird. Now he's going to be wondering, where were those probes going? He should be wondering, because that was not a direction. Like, if they would have gone back to the natural, it might have fooled him, but now he should have been a little bit triggered, like, these army movements are kind of strange. I don't know where the probes are going, but Basil needs more units. Basil does not looking like he has the army composition to... Actually, this is interesting. Battousai, again, wants to just go for the jugular, but he's going to get a few units picked off here if he's not careful. Or maybe he'll just pull off a perfect sandwich. There's also that possibility as well. Trying to sandwich the units here from Basil, but it's not exactly working because now he's back across the bridges, which is allowing Basil to pick the ideal fights here, and it should trade pretty evenly for him. And he ought to hold off this clump of units here from Battousai. Yeah, he'll be fine. Reinforcing zealots coming out, and that will drive back the Dragoons. And now we still have... Okay, he's finally split up his probes. We have 1 base to 1 base. He has no gas, though. He has 0 gas. He hasn't even taken the gas. All he can macro is a few zealots. And Battousai retaking that base. Retaking that 4th. Transfer of probes. And Basil is going to take another expansion of his own. Both players looking to have 2 mining bases. But right now it's 2 mining bases for Battousai. It looks like a little thin on probes for... Oh, 3 mining... I didn't realize. Oh, okay. This is a really bad situation then to be in as Basil. He's only got 1 base mining right now. And Battousai, although somewhat thinly, is mining from 3 bases. It's a lot more consistent income. And of course, Battousai has gas. He's got at least 1 gas there. He's got his depleted... Oh, there's 1 depleted geyser in this base. But he's got an extra geyser. Alright, here we go. Basil trying to get something done. He's attacking down the ramp. There are some DTs out. There's no obs, it looks like, for Basil. Not good. Throwing away some units under the damage of those DTs and immediately forced to run away. And there's just not that much left for Basil, who's canceled this base. So now he's on 1 base against 3, and it's looking pretty grim as he seems to have a much weaker army as well, as Battousai's macro continues to kick in and remain on overdrive in comparison. Finishing off the pylon, looking to expand there. Still hasn't found this base. Doesn't really matter right now. It's not looking like it's going to matter right now. It's looking like Battousai just has too much. I mean, this is some very thin mining. Again, there's just now a gas being taken. He's only mined 100 from it. So he's basically been making exclusively Zealots, and Zealot Archon coming out from Battousai, which is a stronger composition against Pure Zealot. Still a few Dragoons in the mix, but it's mostly Zealots, and it's not that much army. It's like a control group and a half, and we've got, what, at least a control group here. We've got another control group of Zealot Archon with a Templar here. It's just a much bigger army. So at some point, Battousai should just go in. Oh, it's okay. Well, it's a really, really good arc. Can the arc from Basil overcome the generally larger and superior army of Battousai? We'll find out. But right now, it looks okay for Battousai. Even trading even here is fine for Battousai. And nope, too much from Battousai. And Basil forced to say GG. Battousai takes game number 1 in a long-fought PvP. What will What map will our second game be on? I think it's Loser Picks. I'm not like 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure. Looks like it's going to be on Sparkle. Looks like it is going to be on Sparkle. Everything clear as far as game goes. Looks like it. I don't see anyone saying there's huge problems. If there was a spell in the game that changes the color of your opponent's hero, that would be the worst thing ever. Oh my god. Oh my god, that would be utterly terrifying. I'm sorry. Alright, so we're going to go into game 2 between Battousai and Basil on Sparkle. Hopefully, maybe, someday in the future. We gotta update the map to say Sparkle. There we go. Alright, so spawning in on the right side at the 3 o'clock position as the white Protoss, we have Basil down a game, and up 1-0 as the red Protoss. From NAS, we have Battousai. And PvP shenanigans, island map style will begin. What have we seen for options on this map? We've seen some Corsair-based opening play, trying to use Corsairs to shut... Whoa, the Kakaru is blue? Holy sh... Oh, it's a hallucinated Kakaru. Wow, okay. That's kind of cool from the map designers. A never-dying blue hallucinated Kakaru. So yeah, we've seen a few different things. We've definitely seen shuttle openings. I mean, you're pretty much going to open with either Shuttle Reaver or Corsair. I think I've seen more shuttle games, more Reaver, Dragoon, Archon drops. Archons are kind of nice on these islands because they're splash damage, right? So if you got this small island, you got 3 or 4 Archons and a Reaver in there, and the other guy comes in to drop on you with like 4 or 5 of his own shuttles, well, that initial splash damage from those Archons and Reavers can be pretty savage and make it hard to drop on top of. So Archons become pretty good in the composition. Reavers, for obvious reasons, strong. If a player opens without gas, I would be utterly confused. I guess you could open Nexus first as well, but I mean at some point after that you're going to have to go for either a Corsair route or a shuttle route. Not enough bases, gas, or whatever to even think about some sort of stay on your island and just go straight to Arbiter or Carrier type play. And it looks like it is going to be a Nexus first here for Battousai. Surprising that he's making it on 12. He's going to cut probes, get it up faster. And of course we have a gate gas, so we're going to have a gate tech build here from Basil. So there will be a window here with the shuttle out a bit faster for Basil. May have some extra opportunities for harass that Battousai won't have. So it'll be a question of, is he vigilant in his minimap watching, and can he get his units in the positions at the right time? Of course, immediately opposite take his gas, something you would never see in a PvP on a ground map. Or rather, he'll likely build the core the second the gateway finishes, which is something you would never see in a PvP on a ground map. Nice spotter piling up already. And straight into Robos, we are going to see shuttle-based play. And there we go. Of course, immediate cybercore. Actually, he did make the Zealot first, which is pretty interesting. I'm genuinely surprised he did that. In the grand scheme of things, it isn't probably the biggest deal. You're only talking, what, 10 to 15 seconds of time, but you know, in certain precision windows, 10 or 15 seconds can make a hell of a lot of difference. I mean, if a shuttle gets there when you have 2 Dragoons, and the reason they're 10 to 15 seconds slower instead of having 4 is because of that, then 10 or 15 second time is a long time to defend a shuttle in your base with 2 Dragoons, or if you're 10 or 15 seconds slower with range, you know, situations like that can be pretty annoying, pretty difficult. Very quick. I guess he's just leaving here because he's not going to do anything with it, but it just looks funny seeing a Zealot chilling at the edge of a base before any units are out. He's building up one hell of a ring of visibility, which I like. I mean, you got to, right? And now he can pull the Zealot back, and he's going to move the Zealot wherever he hasn't built pylons yet. I like it, not bad. If you're going to make a Zealot that isn't going to do anything, you might as well put it to use. And now it's probably going to go and do the same thing back here, start attacking the Disruptor over the gas. Oh, and we are going to have a Stargate opening here from Battousai. I like it, I like it. So we're going to have Stargate against Shuttle. Reaver immediately being made. Where is... Oh yeah, of course I know where the bay is. And obviously getting Shuttle speed. Side Disruptor about to die. First Corsero on the way for the scouting information. And no range here for his Dragoons, focused on getting those Reavers out as fast as possible. And admittedly, they are very fast Reaver. We do have, what, one Dragoon out? And so the interesting thing here, of course, about going Corsair is it lowers the gateway count, which means that the number of Dragoons that Battousai is going to have is very thin. Probably thin enough such that this 2 Reaver shuttle, assuming it's a 2 Reaver shuttle, okay, it's going to be a 1 Reaver harass shuttle, but it's such that if the 2 Reaver harass shuttle gets in, he would be able to kill all the goons with good micro, especially if he gets a surprise shot off before reactions happen. But there's a downside here, and that downside is exactly this. Oh my gosh, okay, there we go. I was like, please don't do that, Battousai. So the shuttle, he has to go back with the shuttle. This is he's got to drop this stuff and go back. This is a really weird decision from Basil. I guess he doesn't have a Dragoon at all, though. He hasn't made one, which is a poor decision in hindsight. Knowing there's a possibility for Corsair, he's absolutely just going to lose the shuttle now. So this opening not going ideally at all for Basil. He's probably hoping that he can at least drop something and get away, but now there's a second Corsair, so the shuttle is down, and the Reaver's just got to be left on the island. It is absolutely not the start that Basil would have wanted, but the funny thing is how differently this game could have gone. You know, island maps create that dynamic that doesn't happen as often in land maps. You know, had he gone the opposite way of the shuttle, the Corsairs would not have found the shuttle, and the shuttle would have landed over here at a base that had 1 Dragoon at best. You know, the shuttle would have landed 1 or 2 Dragoons, and the Reavers could have done a ton of damage. But now, and with the Corsairs away, it would have taken them a while to come back. He would have been able to micro around with the shuttle. But unfortunately, it went the other way. He picked the wrong choice of path. His shuttle was picked off, his Reaver stranded on the island doing absolutely nothing. The Corsair's just stalking around it like it's, you know, a prisoner of war, which it kind of is, stranded on the island. Alright, he's going to ferry a probe off this island, and is he going to try to pick up the Reaver? Or is he going to go scout with the shuttle? If he tries to pick up this Reaver, this is like the ballsiest thing ever. He's got speed, so I guess in theory he can do it. He wants to save the Reaver. Here we go, he's going for the Reaver save. Can he pull it off? Are the Corsairs close enough? No, he's still going to go harass. I like this. This is really ballsy. This is really ballsy, and I love it. I'm surprised the reaction took that long from Battousai. The shuttle's not going to have long to micro. If he runs his probes well, this will be taken care of fairly easily. Oh, he's targeting... Please tell me you're targeting... Oh, he's not targeting the shuttle with the cannon. What a sad day. Oh, the goons are really close. 1 hit. He gets the Reaver down. Can he get 1 big scarab? He gets 1 small scarab. The rest of the probes get away. So it was ballsy. And look at this over here, though. We have a counter drop from Battousai doing some damage at the Nexus over here. And it just leads to a short GG from Basil, and Battousai takes game 2 in quick fashion for a quick 2-0 over Basil.